Hello everyone, welcome to another video of mine. If you're new to the channel, welcome. So in this channel, I share my own personal healing stories with channel messages from the universe and the various forces in the universe. I share those messages and my healing story with the intention of helping you heal and to encourage you and to motivate you on your personal journey so then you can live happily and fulfillingly. To introduce myself a little bit, my name is Yawen, and I'm a psychic. I'm also a medium, and I interact with everything unseen regularly. I mean, every day, all the time. And I love talking to them, and I love everything magical. Yeah, so. Anyways, so let's get started into today's topic, which is chasing your dreams. This is gonna be part 1. We're going to talk about fierceness. Right, fierceness. Got this word right. So what sparked today's topic was, so in the last video, I talked about my car accident, right? So after my car accident, I was admitted into the hospital, to the emergency room. So there, I met different nurses, and like without going into too much detail of what they did or what they did not do, I mean, I could just tell that, like you're just there for money and you're not doing a good job. And and this is like a recurring topic to me, like, because I see people like working jobs that they don't like all the time just to survive. Hey, it's a job that pays my bills, so I'm gonna do it, whatever. I really don't see the need to do something that you don't like, and that's really one thing. That's like one principle that I really hold, which is I'm not gonna do anything that I don't like. Like if I see, a job that I don't like, I'm not gonna apply for it, even if it pays well. I'm not gonna sacrifice my happiness for it. I mean, there's so many things I can talk about for this topic, but so I pulled a few cards for this topic. So first I got this card. It's Wolverine, and it depicts like this Wolverine or wolf. So for this reading, I'm just gonna read it as wolf instead of Wolverine. So there's Wolverine, and then there's this warrior here with a fiery sword and a shield, and there's some like water like energy there pouring down. And this is another card. So you see there's another sword, and it's fiery as well, and there's some flowers. And another card is this, 2 fish, and there's a broken arrow at the top, and there's 2 cups with water. So today we're going to focus on this card, and in the videos to come, I'm going to talk about those cards, and I'll combine like everything together. So the Wolverine cards, let's just call it the wolf card from now on. So I'm gonna again read it from my notes. So what I got from it was, this animal is very protective of their territories because they need to keep their dignity. This card sends the message of defending one's authority. Certain things are sacred and need to be protected, such as people's dreams. So let's stop there for a bit. I'm going to talk about something. Certain things are sacred and need to be protected, such as people's dreams and also your own dignity. So just these few days, there's a lot of wolf energy around me. So I was guided to rewatch this anime that I watched a long time ago, and it's a pretty old anime. It's called Wolf's Rain. But basically, I guess I'm still watching it, but one message that I got from the movie, from the anime, that's related to this is, like you shouldn't allow other people's allow other people to talk bad about your dreams, especially if they want to laugh at you or laugh at your dreams, calling you silly, calling you stupid, saying that, oh, your dreams will never come true because like they're just unrealistic and, just a dream. Well, I'll tell you, a dream's not a dream. A dream can become reality if you let it, if you work for it. If you don't work for it, yeah, like it's just gonna be your dream. But okay, so let me just give some a few personal examples. So okay, let's start with when I was young, when I was around 7 or 8 or 9 years old. I didn't really have the courage to live. Like I was really, really unhappy with the environment I was staying in. I don't know if I talked about this on my channel or mentioned it, but like I did not have a happy childhood. So I, was pretty suicidal, at the age of like 8 or 9 or 7. I remember just one night I was, like walking with my parents, like they were walking in front of me and I was, following them in the back. And I remembered, in my mind I was thinking like, man, I don't really want to live anymore. There's like, I'm not happy. There's no meaning to life. But then there was always this drive inside of me that, that always told me like, hey, you have something very important to do later in life. So, like keep going, like don't die. So that became my drive to live. That became my reason to live. Which is, back then, like when I was 8 years old, I didn't know what I wanted to do, right? I didn't know, what that important thing meant. But, that was my reason to live, so that's what kept me going. So, I, just kept it in my heart for the entire time. And even until this day, I'm not like suicidal now, but it was my dream, so to speak, and I kept it in my heart, and I really cherished it. So, and another instance where you should protect your dream is, I remember when I was, okay, so the story was when I was in university, I decided to go to graduate school for my career. Not for my career. I decided to go to graduate school and then do research for my career because I want to help the world that way through research. So I applied for it, but I did not get in. I think like we're probably gonna talk more about it in another video, but just for now, in short, I did not get in. And back then I was very devastated because that was my dream. And I, after I got to know that I did not get in, my only dream then that was left was to go to Africa because I always had a calling to go to Africa. I didn't know what that meant. But I just always remember this conversation that kept playing in my head, that happened in elementary school. When we were in the dorm, I remember, we talked about, where we went for traveling, and I remember this girl said, oh, I've been to all the continents in the world, but I've just never been to Africa. And then that sentence just really stuck with me, like, for, 20 something years. Yeah. And it's, like after I got rejected by my graduate school, I, try to save some money to go to Africa. I worked 6 days a week and, and all that. And I managed to save $4,000. And after the $4,000, guess what? I crashed my car. No, this is not a car accident that I talked about in the last video. This was another car accident. So this happened, so now it's 2022. Yeah, so it happened last year. Yeah, last year, so 2021. So I crashed my car, in a similar circumstance where I just basically crashed into myself. But yeah, the point is, after the car crash, it's like boom, $4,000 gone, like to repair the car. Because at first I didn't really want to repair the car. I wanted to wait a little bit. I wanted to wait until I get back because I really wanted to use that money to go to Africa. But then my mom was like, "Oh no, you need to like repair this car now, like for whatever reason, blah blah." And I was like, "Okay." And also, I think after that there was the insurance thing, like the insurance, because we pay it yearly, and so the insurance was expiring, so you had to renew it, which is another $1,000. I didn't have money, right? I spent all my $4,000 that was supposed to be used for my travels on repairing the car, so I had to borrow money from my mom. Yeah, it was all borrowed money, like they didn't give me money for free, so to speak. Yeah, they raised me up. It paid for my food when I was 9 years old, but yeah, like now they're really cutting me off, but yeah, which is fine. But yeah, so my debt started then, like with the car crash. And like I was telling my mom, like I saved $4,000 for my travels. I didn't want it to be used for repairing the car. And don't get me wrong, like I love my little car, but it's just back then, like my dream was everything to me, and it still is everything to me. We'll talk more about this later. But like my mom said, what, if you don't have money, you should not go traveling. And that, I think that's what everyone sort of told me. I asked to borrow money from my relatives, and my uncle was like, "Oh, you know what? Like, you should borrow money to travel." Okay, like whatever, like I respect your opinion, if that's what you think. But here's the thing that I really felt is that, because I kept getting messages from the universe like, "Oh, you should go now, you should go now, you should go now, you should start planning your trip. You should plan your trip already." And I was always procrastinating. It's just I was bombarded by those like divine messages that told me, "Hey, you need to go now. You need to go now." It's not like you could wait a year and wait until you have more money to go. And like no, like no one else understood my position. No one else understood my circumstances, because hey, like, did you get, oh yeah, I forgot to mention this, but I had a dream where it suggested that okay, so the dream was basically like I took a train to this foreign or this alien land that I've never been to, and I saw this black woman, like her back was facing me, and I saw this huge, like, gorgeous golden butterfly that's just otherworldly on her back. And that dream, like, there's no sign that said, "Hey, like this train stop is Africa." Like, didn't say that, right? But I just thought it was Africa, and it was Africa. I'm not sure if it was, but like the message was, this is Africa and you better come to Africa, because if you come, like there's gonna be good things happening to you. I mean, I didn't go there to like win the lottery, so to speak, but it was calling to go to Africa. Yeah, so where was I? Yeah. So nobody understood my circumstances. And plus like all this is metaphysical, like you're not gonna tell anybody like, oh, like, yeah, like my deceased ancestors, sent me this dream and said, oh, like, Yawen, you need to go to Africa now. Like now, like instead of next year or later. Yeah, you need to go now. Yeah, so I mean, it was just kind of hard with everyone discouraging you, saying that you shouldn't go because you don't have money. But I knew that I had to go, and this is something that like this one trait of mine, that is, I really chase my dreams, even if I fail so many times, even if other people that tell me that that I shouldn't chase it for whatever reason, it's not realistic, you're not good enough, blah blah, whatever. Like, I don't give up on my dreams. I don't, and neither should you. Like, you have your dreams for a reason, and if you have those dreams, that means you are good enough to achieve those dreams. And, don't let other people tell you otherwise. And that's where the energy of the wolf card comes from. It's that, because the wolf knows, like, it has its own dignity, and it respects itself. It knows what it can do, so it boldly chases after its dreams. So continuing on to my notes. Hold on. Yeah, so continuing on my notes, there's a little bit more notes. Listen to your intuition fiercely. It's one of your secret weapons that you can use to illuminate your path. So, going back to the African dream, like, I knew that I really had to go. And, I guess here's the thing, like, of course, like, I am a very, like, intuitive is not the right word here. Yes, I am intuitive, but what I want to say is, like, I'm really, like, connected to the universe and, all the messages. I mean, I'm still working on being more connected, but I would say that I'm definitely, like, a lot more connected than the average person. And, like, I'm a psychic, so, like, I know things. So, in the sense, if you're not as connected to the universe as I am, I mean, there's no worry, like, I don't think just, every successful person is a psychic or a medium like me, like, they just know, internally, like, you have to feel that sense of longingness and sense of, that strong desire, that does not go away. What do you dream about every day? What do you daydream about? What do you like? What do you love? Those are your dreams, and those are your intuition speaking to you, like, hey, this is my dream, and this is what I want to do in life, instead of, working a job that only serves to pay your bills. It's, you're wasting your potential. It really is that. And you're not gonna live happily. I don't think so. I mean, if you do like doing a job that you don't like, I mean, be my guest, Yeah. Continue on. Yeah, so be fierce when you're chasing your dreams. Once you locked your eyes on the target, don't let it go and just chase. Yeah, so, I gave the example of, my dream of going to Africa. And also, I guess here's another example, which is, I'm going to keep this kind of short. So when I was when I was preparing to apply for graduate school, I had to do a lot of volunteering. So, with volunteer stuff nowadays, it's really competitive. Yeah, you basically have to compete with other applicants to work for free for someone else. Yes, that's the thing. And, just to work for that letter of reference letter. But when it comes to chasing my dreams, fiercely, yeah, when it comes to chasing my dream, fiercely. It's just when I was applying to those psychology labs, because I was studying psychology and I want to do psychology for my career. Like I got so many rejections just right off the bat, because when I started to apply for psychology labs, I went to so many interviews, and just after each interview I would get like no, 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 no. And I was like, I mean, isn't this my dream? Because I really thought that if this decision is supported by the universe or by the divine, then I should not have such a hard time. But you know after so many rejections, I was really like a zombie. Like I was very dejected, and I was kind of lifeless, because it's my dream. And like if and like one thing when you're so like connected and you're so after your dream is that like if you consistently get so many rejections, that kind of stops you. Well, not stops you, that that's kind of like an obstacle to achieving your dreams. Like you get well, being disappointed is a very like word, but it's like you get really dejected, and yeah, essentially you're like a zombie. But back then I knew of my zombie state, and but I also knew that I should just keep going. And that's one thing that was really holding in my heart, was that yes, I'm like a zombie. Yes, I got rejected so many times. Yes, like I'm very low right now. But I know that I should just keep going. That I should just keep going, and I kept going at it. And eventually, I landed a volunteer position. Yeah. So those are my personal examples. Yeah. So that's the Wolverine card. I mean, I'll talk about this card more in the videos to come. But now let's do some channeling. So that's the energy of the card. Let's see. So I was thinking maybe I'll channel like my past life. How he died. Well, he's actually a very honorable person. His name is Jeffrey. So the way he died was he was a war activism. I'm not sure if that's the right words, but basically he protested against war. So he was really pro peace. And yeah, so he died in in one of the activist protests, for a good cause, right? I mean, like, well, not necessarily for a good cause, because I don't want to be labeling things as good or bad, but it's a cause that he really stood for. So let's see if he wants to talk tonight. So he says, I'm very honored to have the stage to myself tonight. I have been wanting to be channeled for such a long time, but she would not let me. I would not let him. I guess what I want to say to all those people that are listening is you really have the potential to do whatever that you want to do to achieve your dreams. And don't devalue yourself. Don't so I guess the image is you're a giant, but then don't see yourself as a little dwarf, because you are a giant. And he said, yes, that's right. That's the right image. So as long as you don't look down on yourself like that, you're good. There's no secret when it comes to chasing your dreams. It's just, you just have to go. It's just that simple. You don't need to overthink too much. You don't need to think about the consequences. You don't need to think about whether you're going to succeed or not. Don't be afraid of failure. and just do it. Just go for it. What, like, so what if you fail? You're still you. Like, you're not, like, you're strong. Like, you shouldn't be afraid of failure. And even if you fail, it's fine. Just go for it again. Don't be afraid of failure, because I feel that a lot of people are very fearful of that, and that really stops them from going after a dream. Because hey, like, you don't know what happens if you try. You might succeed, you might fail, but failure should not be a stop sign. It's not a stop. It's just a temporary pause to go back and review what you did and see if you can improve on that. Other than that, I feel so the channeling is officially over from him. But yeah, like, I can feel that he's a very fiery person. He's like full of life. I mean, but yeah, like, I don't feel like I need to talk about him and his energy, but whatever. Yeah, so I guess I will stop the video there. I mean, I did channel another a little story. Like, I just channeled this like an hour ago, right before my video. If you still have time to listen to that, you're welcome to. If not, then not. Yeah. So I guess one thing that I want to say about those stories that I channel is I guess it's like, don't try to look at it from a logic's perspective, from the perspective of logic. It's not going to sound like your regular human stories, like, not that I'm saying it's because it's magical. Well, my point is, I think just even after I channel those messages, I think, well, what's the point of the message, But then I think that's where the sort of the human mind comes in. You really have to think logically, but hey, like, I didn't channel from a human, so and plus, like, not everything needs to be logical, right? You get whatever you get. If you just get pure pleasure from listening to it, then so be it, right? So here's the story. I channel this from a wolf energy. I'll just say that, from a wolf energy. And so this story talks about this little, what I call a little girl, but just mind you that this little girl is actually a wolf, but it can shapeshift into human. Yes, haha, that's magical, and I love it. But anyway, so I'm gonna use the term the little girl, but just mind you that it's actually a wolf, and it's wolf shapeshifter. Yeah. So once upon a time, there was a little girl who lived deep in the forest. She always wanted to come out to the world of humans and see how humans live their lives. So one day, she left the grandma that she was living with. She sneaked out of the house and went on a long journey. The journey never ended, and she is still going. One day, she finds a companion, another little girl in the forest, and they make good friends. To add, this little girl, when I channel a message, was a human. Together, they go to the city. The city is much bigger and much busier than they thought. There's tons of new things that they've never seen, new scents and new memories. What should I be doing here? The little girl asks herself. She knows that she has to find something, a calling that was inside her heart that is screaming at her. You need to find the thing or the person that you love. She does not know what that meant, but she keeps that dream inside her heart and cherishes it. One day, she comes into contact with a man. The man says, "Hey, little girl, why don't you work for me? I'll give you a lot of money." The little girl says, "Okay, I'll come with you, but you have to treat me well." The man says, "Okay." Then together they go to the factory. The factory is nothing the little girl ever imagined. There's a lot of hard work, and the girl would come home every single day very late. Whenever she comes home, she is exhausted and cannot do anything else. One day, she decides that she's had enough of this, and she does not gain anything from it. There's no meaning to her life anymore with this kind of lifestyle. So she left the factory. The man said, "Did I not treat you well enough? I give you a lot of money. You get much more pay than the average worker does." The little girl said, "The amount of money does not matter. What matters is that I'm not happy here. So I'm going." The man sees that the little girl is very determined and cannot be stopped. The little girl had to find a new job, so she wandered again through another forest. This time she wandered for 3 days. She came to another city, and it's a deserty city this time. The weather was so hot, and she was very thirsty. She begged for water, and she was so exhausted every single day because of the heat, and she just mostly laid on the ground every single day. One day, a grandma stopped by. She said, "Little girl, why don't you come live with me? I can give you a lot of food." The little girl hadn't had much food in the past 3 days, so she said yes. After they got home, the grandma locked the door and would not let the little girl out. The grandma wanted to keep the wolf as her companion, and the little girl had to listen to every request that the grandma makes, every single wish that she has. "I have no freedom now. I'm a slave now," the little girl thought. But then she remembered that she has a dream inside of her that is screaming at her. "You still have me here. You cannot forget me. I'm the single most important thing to you." The little girl remembers that she has a dream, and that is to find the oasis in the desert. "I've got a new insight into this dream. I have to find the oasis in the desert now," the little girl thought. So one day, the little girl sneaks out of the house when the grandma was sleeping. But then, how do I find the oasis? As she was thinking, she caught a scent of water. The smell of water, the little girl thought. There must be water nearby. So the little girl follows the scent to the water, and just 1 mile away from the house, there's a big pool of water with trees and grass beside it. "This is the oasis. I found it. How happy am I?" And the little girl stays at the oasis for now. So that's the end of the channel story. So I hope you enjoyed the story, and also my channeling of my past life, Jeffrey. Thank you, Jeffrey. I have a picture of my Jeffrey here on my table. And I hope that you really like the message of the video, and I hope it was very helpful to you, and I hope my personal story was helpful to you. If you like this video, give a thumbs up and leave a comment. I really appreciate you watching my video. So I'll see you next time. Bye.